My name is Ben van der Merwe and I'm coming to you today to tell you a real life event that took place that devastated my life, devastated the people around me, and also my family, brought them to nothing. I used to own a company by the name of Barend Internet Solutions, which was a ISP, internet service providing company, providing ICT services to a lot of people and subscribers. I've been building on the company for about 15 years and did pretty well within the company. However, we needed somebody or something to expand on, and that was on wireless technology. We got involved with a company, Universal Communications, and started off a joint venture to expand the company in ICT services and to provide even better quality and more involved ICT services to the public, to customers longing for wireless facilities. With this in mind, starting off the joint venture, there was a couple of things that had to take place. Number one is we had to change the sole proprietor company into a Pty limited company, and because all my clients already knew the name of Barend Internet Solutions, we decided to keep the company to Barend Internet Solutions and took a supposedly new company, which was actually a dormant company, and did a name change on it to Barend Internet Solutions Pty Limited, in which I was a 50% shareholder and also the CEO of the company. The other part of the company was owned by Communications, and the director there was Mr. Benjamin Maton. He took a seat as a director of Barend Internet Solutions, with Ucoms as a other 50% shareholder of the company, and he is the acting director for the company on the board of Barend Internet Solutions. With that in mind, we also had to create a new bank account for the company. We decided in such a way that we will not make use of a bank that both of us are involved in. I was currently involved with First National Bank, as they were our bankers, and Maton was currently also with First National Bank and also with Nedbank at that point in time. Unanimously, we decided to use Standard Bank as our bankers for the new company, because both of us, well, at that point in time, had no interest within the bank at all, because they weren't our bankers. Well, so I thought. Gertrude Maton, which was Ben Maton's wife and also the financial director for Communications, were appointed as the person that would be to open the bank account with Standard Bank on the company's behalf. And we decided to do it at a mainland branch in Pretoria, seeing that most of the accounting operations, billing operations, and all of that will take place from Pretoria. Gertrude Maton went and opened a bank account. A company resolution were drawn up in which it stated that an electronic bank account must be open, in which I have joint signatory with Gertrude Maton on the bank account. She would be allowed to withdraw up to 5,000 Rand within a day, or as used for petty cash, buy of stock, whatever. And anything above 5,000 Rand must be a joint effort in withdrawing money. Would it be the signing of a check? And being an electronic account, my mind said to me, and business, the Standard Bank business internet facility should have been in place, where one party goes in, allocate payments, this other party goes in and release those payments. Well, point number one is that never happened. Standard Bank never brought that into play with the account when the account was opened. It clearly stated on the company resolution, in which Standard Bank has a copy on their file, which is an electronic account and jointly. So any right-thinking person would know that we want a business internet banking system where one person allocates payment, another person release payment. And that wasn't done. That's one part with the opening of the account where something already went wrong. The second thing that came to play is with the company name change. The company name change actually took place on the 20th of May 2008, where it were actually changed from the dormant company over to RB Internet Solutions Pty Limited. However, the bank account was actually opened by Standard Bank on the 20th or 21st or 22nd. Within that time range, it was opened at Standard Bank in April 2008. A month before the actual company name changed to RB Internet Solutions Pty Limited. Now, Standard Bank came back and said that they did comply with their rules in opening a bank account and opened the account according to the FICA law with Benjamin Maton as the sole owner or director of RB Internet Solutions. It's not true, because RB Internet Solutions never belonged to Ben Maton at any point of time. And they can go back to the records of the company registrar, and they would be able to see, and I've got the copies of that, authenticated copies of that documentation with the lawyer, where it states exactly when the name change took place on the 20th of May. So how could he have been an owner or the owner of RB Internet Solutions Pty Limited if the company didn't even exist by law as a Pty Limited at that time? But yet they opened the bank account with a statutory document that says that. I need Standard Bank to actually show me that document and proof that that was actually the case. That's the second point in terms of opening the bank account. How did they open the bank account without the proper statutory documents as required by the FICA law? The third thing that came to mind with the opening of the bank account was the allowing to be for the mandates to be signed by a single person, where the company resolution stated jointly between myself and Gertruida Maton to be signatories to the account. They went ahead, gave Gerda Maton her signing power to the account, gave her internet banking access, but never gave me the same access or my signatory right to the account. When they came to me and said, listen, the bank account is open and we are ready for trade and everything, I went to them and said, okay, but I haven't signed yet. And they said, no, it is arranged with Standard Bank that I can go at any time and just go and sign the mandates and everything should be okay. And I said, fine. The very same or a very next day or day thereafter, I actually contacted Standard Bank and said, listen, I want to come in to put in to sign the mandates for it. And I was speaking to a Mr. Donovan Price, which at that point in time handled the account opening and our account. He refused me. He says, sorry, you can't do that. If your signature needs to go onto the account, then all the parties must be present to do that. And I said, but you guys just said to me, or they just said to me that I can come in at any time and sign the mandates. What changed the policy now? No. No policy change, but all parties need to be present to sign the mandates. I actually went out to Menlyn branch and sat across the table and spoke to Mr. Donovan Price, on which I even gave him a letter and stating that, you know what, if you're going to allow any further trading on this account, I'll keep Standard Bank liable for any damages. He never signed that document because he knew that if he signs it, he's going to be liable for this, because that account wasn't opened in the proper way. But there I sat and I said, well, I'm here, I want to sign the mandates. You guys said I can come in at any time and sign the mandates. He says, no, I can't allow that. All parties must be present. I says, okay. Why were all the parties not present when the mandates were signed in the first place? His words to me was, quote and unquote, it's not Standard Bank's obligation to make sure that you're there to sign the mandates. Excuse me. It's Standard Bank's obligation to say, sorry, nobody can sign the mandates because all the parties are not present. So Mrs. Gertruida Maton, get Mr. Ben van der Merwe here to sign with you. Then we can sign the documents. Why didn't Standard Bank do that? But when I walk in and I say, okay, here I am, I want to sign, they say, sorry, you can't sign, all parties must be here. So please explain to me, how does that work? So the three things that came about from this is, number one, they refused to put my signature onto the account and allow me any information from the bank, because with my signature not on the account, I couldn't even get a statement from the bank. I went to my branch in Nigel to find statements, and they wouldn't allow me to get statements from the bank because I wasn't a signatory on the account. My name was there listed as a director. By all means, yes, Mr. van der Merwe, you are definitely a director, but sorry, you don't have signing powers to this account. So sorry, we can't give you statements. So I didn't have signing powers to the account. Electronic banking wasn't set in place the way it should have been, where it was the business banking plan that came to play. Third point is, the account was opened on statutory documents or non-existing statutory documents in which Standard Bank claim it is there. I want to see them, please. I want to see those documents. So in our whole venture, joint venture, over the period from 2008 up to 2009, I've been battling for 8-9 months with Standard Bank and Matons to give me my access to Standard Bank or to bank statements, because money were walking out of the company and I was left destitute. I didn't get paid. These people just took control of a company that didn't belong to them. I was pushed to the side. My hands were chopped off to any kind of information, and nobody wants to render me information on what is going on. When I went to Maton eventually with threats in terms of, now I want financial statements, they came up with financial statements that he gave me that his little son-in-law drew up, which is a computer technician. He's not even a CA or a accountant. He's a computer technician that draw up financial statements for a PTY Limited. And they give me that statements and say, this is what it is all about. I gave that statements one look and I showed them exactly where all their mistakes are. Then he quickly went out, and within a half an hour he fixed it up, but the figure stays the same, just manipulated the figures to where it goes. Instead of paying UCOMs for ICT service rendered, they all of a sudden paid tax to the value of 300,000 Rand that disappeared out of the company. And I looked at it and I just go, you know what, how stupid do you think I am? Then Maton says, no, go to Rospinar, which is the appointed CA's accountants for RB Internet Solutions. I went out to Rospinar. I went there and I said to the people that I saw there, I'm Ben van der Merwe. I'm the owner of, or the CEO of RB Internet Solutions Pty Limited. I believe you are our appointed accountant. I would like to have financial statements or some kind of financial management report to tell me what is going on within the company. And the guy said to me, sorry sir, I don't know what you're talking about. They didn't think, Maton didn't think I will go to Rospinar, but I actually, as a matter of fact, gone there. Again, back to Standard Bank. In my opinion, if Standard Bank would have allowed me to get bank statements from day one, I would have known exactly what was happening. But every time I went to Maton, he would refuse me bank statements. Quote and unquote his words, it's none of your business. I'm CEO, 50% shareholder. It's a PTY Limited, none of my business. Excuse me. Same from Standard Bank. You're not a signatory on the account. You're 50% shareholder, oh yes. You are the CEO of the company, oh yes, but you've got no signatory power. Sorry sir, we can't give you statements. Eventually I had to go and seek help from people. I landed up with our lawyer, Mr. Marius Blom. What a fantastic person, that went out of his way to help us to get a court order from the higher court in which it forced Ben Maton to give me bank statements and would force Standard Bank to give me my signatory power. I was granted that court order on the 9th, I think, if I'm correct, it was the 9th of December in 2008. 24 hours later, I did get bank statements from Ben Maton, which he delivered to our lawyers, which I went and picked up from the lawyers to work through it and to see what is happening. Within a half an hour, Stru's God, within a half an hour that I sat with that statement, I knew exactly how he moved and how he did what he did to steal the money from the company. Now, if Standard Bank would have allowed me that access from April, May, let's even say from May, when the actual name change of the company took place, I could have stopped all of this happening. And it would have saved all the stakeholders the losses they had to face. Westbank, SA Home Loans, me losing my property, me losing our vehicles, losing our life, and everything we owned. I could have stopped it because I saw exactly how he did it. And with the electronic feature in place, where one person allocates payment, the other person release payments, they wouldn't have been able to move money out of the account. I mean, the company resolution also stated that she can withdraw up to 5,000 Rand per day. They allowed amounts of 30,000, 40, 50, 60 to move out of that bank account without my signature, where the company resolution stipulated it clearly that jointly more than 5,000 can leave the account, up to 250,000. More than 250,000 must be a board decision. They didn't comply to the company resolution again. So now we have 4 points in which they didn't comply. Directly, I blame Standard Bank for all these happenings. Directly, they could have stopped everything if they did what they had to do from the word go. Number one, have had all the parties there to sign the documents and didn't allow the company or didn't allow the signing of any mandates and activating the account for trading until all the parties were there to sign. Number two was to double checked on the statutory documents if they were true and if they were, as a matter of fact, the way they say it belonged to Benjamin Maton, which it didn't. They should have brought in the electronic banking system into place for the company as such, and they should have complied with the resolution of the company. So directly, I laid at the door of Standard Bank saying that you are responsible for where I am today. You ruined me. You took everything from me. You took my life, you took my business, you took everything I ever had. With all that said, I want Standard Bank now to actually prove me wrong and show that they have complied to all the banking rules, to our government rules or legislation, and that they had no part in any fault, 100% no part in any fault in this. After I got the court order granted in my favor for Ben Maton to now forcibly give me the bank statements and to force Standard Bank to give me my access or my signatory to the account, Ben Maton ran and he liquidated RB Internet Solutions. I could have opposed it and fighted the liquidation because the company wasn't insolvent, although he was trying to prove that the company was, but the company was not. Because I know exactly to the T how much money came in, because I knew exactly who was billed what, because people were billed and the money came into the company on my instructions. And my instructions alone. So I knew exactly how much money we made. The company wasn't insolvent. The company was doing pretty good. But because of the scenario, Maton knew now there's problems. And he ran and he liquidated the company. With that, all that happened, I contacted Standard Bank and wrote them a letter. It was pretty much in December 2008. I can still remember that very clearly. And I wrote a letter to Mr. Kirvan Naidu, which I believe at that point in time he was the forensic, head of forensic in Standard Bank. He got my letter. He actually said to me that he's handing it over to a person in his department. Eventually, it was Mr. Andre de Jager. He acknowledged that he also received the letter that I wrote to them, explaining to them all the do's and what happened. And because it was December, they said, you know what, there's not much that we can do now, but we'll do this early next year. That would be now in 2009. I've waited and waited and waited. Around about April in 2009, I actually contacted Standard Bank again and says, please people, what's happening? Because we have to talk. So Mr. Andre de Jager came back to me and he said, okay, they'll set up a meeting. I went to Joburg, myself, my wife went to Joburg to go and see Mr. Andre de Jager. At this meeting was present myself, my wife, Mr. Andre de Jager, which was handling the situation. Then there was two other ladies, by name I don't know who they are, but I know I corresponded with him as his secretary or personal assistant. And the next person there was the actual bank manager of Standard Bank Mainland, which was a Mr. Williams, if my memory serves me correct, but it's Mr. Williams. But in any case, we sat around the table, we walked in there bare hands. No paperwork, nothing. As you see me, we walked in there. Standard Bank came up with their file with all the information in them. The statutory documents, the company resolution, everything is in that file. And according to all of that, I showed them exactly what I'm being saying here. Mr. Williams stood up and he took out a statutory document and he put it on the table and he says, according to this, quote and unquote, according to this document, we actually opened the account. Mr. de Jager took the account, the document. He says to me, but you're not as a director on this CM29. I says, okay, let me see. And he gave me the CM29 and I look, and indeed, I was not a director there. Only Benjamin Maton was listed as a director on this document. My wife looked at it, we looked at it, well, now where does this come from? Then at the top, it tells you when was that certificate issued. And that certificate was issued on the 5th of August 2008. Okay, let's go back. Company changed, or company name change took place on the 20th of May 2008. The account was opened on the 20th, 21st, 22nd in that time frame of April in 2008. The document presented to us according to which the company account was opened was dated the 5th of August 2008. Now please explain to me how you bring that together where a document issued on the 5th of August being used to open an account in April. This doesn't gel. And when I saw that and showed that out to Mr. de Jager, he threw his hands in the air like this, fall back in his seat and stopped the meeting there. That's it. That was end of our meeting. And he said to me, I presume that you want to put in a claim. And I said, yes, we want to do that. And then he said, okay, formulate the claim, send it on to me, let's have a look at it. I don't say Standard Bank will honor it, but I don't say Standard Bank will not. Let's look at it and discuss the matter further. From there I went back to my lawyer, and within the parameters of the law, he calculated what damages there were. Eventually he sent a letter off to Standard Bank in which we claimed 1.5 million rand for the total damages. At that point of time, that would have been enough money to save all my houses, all my property, my cars, everything, and I could have at least carried on with what I had. Standard Bank refused because they said, according to them, the information that they have and according to the documentation they have, I've not been a director of RB Internet Solutions. I haven't been part of the company when they opened the account, and that nowhere did Ben Maton give them a letter stating that I must have signatory power on that account. Why is there a company resolution that states that? I mean, the account should have been opened when the actual account, actual company name change took place. Why all of a sudden now I'm not part of it? Now that documentation I would love to see, Standard Bank, please show them to me. I want to see that document on which you opened the company, where I'm not a director, where the company RB Internet Solutions Pty Limited belonged to Ben Maton. I know he didn't. You proved to me he did.
Well, an account must be opened in accordance with the resolution authorizing it. There's no reason why the one cannot sign and the other one later on, but the account cannot be implemented until all signatures have been obtained in accordance with the resolution. The bank account cannot be made operative before everybody who has to sign in accordance with the empowering resolution has done so. I was at that point in time satisfied that on the information I got from Mr. van der Merwe and the replies of the bank that there is sufficient grounds for a claim for damages. If the bank did not comply with the resolution in terms of which the account was opened, then Mr. van der Merwe would not have had the ability, even though he would like to control the affairs on the account. And it's for that very reason that we applied to the High Court in Pretoria for a court order directing the bank and the then authorized signatories to give Mr. van der Merwe access to the bank account. Is based on the information that I got from Mr. van der Merwe and the fact that the bank did not react to his requests to have access, etc. I subsequently was of the opinion that there is a claim for damages against the bank, and I did in fact issue a letter of demand for damages for Mr. and Mrs. van der Merwe. Well, it is true that the whole marriage between the van der Merwes and the Ucoms company under the headship of Mr. What was his surname? Maton, was a financial disaster. It ended up in the liquidation of that company, and by the time we had the court order to give van der Merwe access to the bank account, it was basically too late to salvage the whole situation. So yes, Mr. van der Merwe has lost a lot of money to the extent that he could not finance an action against the bank. He could not provide the funds to enable me to appoint counsel and to proceed with the preparation of summons and to issue and file the claim for damages.